Today we want to discuss why we should focus on patient-facing digital health technologies for chronic diseases. This is not just another technological trend, but represents a fundamental shift in how we can deliver healthcare, addressing critical gaps in our current care models while empowering patients to take control of their health journey. Let me start by emphasizing that chronic diseases constitute a genuine public health emergency for every country in the world. Their prevalence continues to increase across all demographics, regardless of geography or economic status. What's particularly challenging is that behaviors, how we eat, exercise, sleep, manage stress, are very often primary drivers of these diseases. The economic burden on healthcare systems has become unsustainable, with the WHO estimating that chronic diseases now account for 71% of all deaths globally. It's clear that traditional approaches to prevention and management are no longer sufficient. The current model of chronic disease management is fundamentally inadequate. Think about it. Patients must travel to healthcare centers just 2 to 3 times per year to receive care. Clinical data is generated almost exclusively in healthcare settings, providing only a narrow snapshot of the patient's condition. Patients receive numerous prescriptions telling them what to do but minimal guidance on how to do it. Our therapies are based almost exclusively on pharmaceutical interventions. And perhaps most problematically, patients remain passive participants in managing their disease and therapy, rather than active partners in their care. Any new model we develop must begin with what patients actually need. We need to understand their daily challenges, their resources, their capabilities, and their limitations. Only by centering the patient experience can we create solutions that will truly transform chronic disease management. This requires a comprehensive approach that addresses the barriers to effective self-management, appropriately leverages available technologies, and reduces the burden on healthcare systems while improving outcomes. Above all, our solutions must be evidence-based while allowing for personalization. So what are the essential elements of an improved model for chronic disease management? First, we need to deliver care at home, on an ongoing basis, not just during infrequent clinical visits. We need to generate health data in real life, capturing the day-to-day fluctuations and challenges that patients experience. We must provide comprehensive support that shows patients not just what they should do, but how they can implement these recommendations in their daily lives. We need tools that help patients change dysfunctional behaviors that drive their disease progression. And above all, we must empower patients to become active managers of their own health. The good news is that today's digital health technologies can support most of these conditions. But what exactly do we mean by digital health technologies? In simple terms, these are all digital technologies at the intersection of software and health. If we prefer a more formal definition, they are systems that use computing platforms, connectivity, software, and sensors for healthcare and related uses. This encompasses a vast range of solutions that combine hardware, software, and connectivity components to address prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and management needs. Digital health technologies are not a monolith. There are hundreds of thousands of them, and they are highly heterogeneous. They range from simple wellness apps to Elon Musk's Neuralink neural implants, from consumer devices like the Apple Watch to sophisticated AI-based diagnostic support systems, and even to basic administrative tools like booking systems for medical examinations. This enormous diversity presents a challenge. In order to define appropriate development guidelines and regulatory frameworks, we need to classify these technologies into smaller, more homogeneous categories. A first classification approach emerged that divided the digital health landscape into 3 tiers: Digital health, the entire universe of digital health technologies. Digital medicine, the subset that requires some sort of evidence, and digital therapeutics, the subset of digital medicine able to improve clinical outcomes. However, this classification proved too vague and generic for practical application. It didn't provide sufficient guidance for developers, regulators, or healthcare providers. This led to the development of a more nuanced classification framework several years later. This new classification is based on 5 differentiation criteria. The first criterion asks, who holds the device? Is it used primarily by industry professionals, healthcare providers, or patients themselves? This is a crucial distinction because the device holder determines the context of use, the regulatory requirements, and the design considerations. Patient-held technologies, in particular, represent the greatest potential for transforming our care models. The second criterion examines what the device claims to do. Does it claim a direct effect on clinical outcomes? Does it claim to improve care processes? Or does it make more modest claims about lifestyle or wellness improvements? The type of claim is important because it determines the evidence standards and regulatory pathways that apply. Technologies making stronger claims about clinical outcomes naturally require more rigorous validation. This leads directly to our third criterion: what evidence, if any, is needed to support the claim. Some technologies require evidence from randomized controlled clinical trials, the gold standard in medical research. Others may rely on real-world evidence studies, observational data, or support from existing scientific literature. Some may only need to demonstrate user satisfaction or engagement. The key principle here is that evidence requirements should be proportional to the risk and aligned with the intended use of the technology. The fourth criterion addresses regulatory oversight. Does the device, with its specific claim and intended use, need to be certified according to applicable regulations like the European Medical Device Regulation? And if so, in which risk class does it fall? In Europe, this could range from Class I, lowest risk, to Class III, highest risk. Regulatory pathways must strike a delicate balance between enabling innovation and ensuring patient safety. The fifth and final criterion focuses on the main feature of the software. Does it primarily measure a digital biomarker, or does it deliver an intervention? This core functionality informs the design, validation, and implementation approaches. Different functionalities require different development and testing methodologies, and understanding this is crucial for creating effective digital health solutions. Using these criteria, the Digital Therapeutics Alliance has identified 8 categories of digital health technologies. The first 2 categories involve software used by employees of industries. The third category is used by healthcare professionals. And the remaining 5 categories are patient-facing technologies, which have the greatest potential to innovate patient care. Today, I'll briefly mention the first 2 categories, then focus primarily on care supports and digital therapeutics, while skipping digital diagnostics because they are still at too early a stage of development. The first category isn't actually about patients and diseases at all, but rather consumers and well-being. These are the hundreds of thousands of health and wellness apps that you can download from the Play Store or Apple Store. They primarily cover domains like fitness and exercise, mental health and meditation, nutrition and diet, sleep tracking, and women's health. They represent the largest segment by volume and are typically distributed directly to consumers using freemium or subscription business models, with limited connection to formal healthcare systems. These health and wellness applications often have an appealing, consumer-oriented look and feel, They're generally not certified as medical devices, and there's typically no clinical evidence supporting their effectiveness. They may collect various health metrics, but these data points have minimal validation. They offer limited professional oversight or guidance, and make relatively low-risk claims about their health impact. Moving into the realm of patient care, patient monitoring is a well-established category related to software that generates and may transmit patient data. These data can be collected in two main ways: passively, without patient involvement, through sensors or wearables, or actively, with patients playing a direct role by filling in questionnaires or taking tests. These technologies find clinical application in disease monitoring, early warning systems, and tracking treatment responses. They are often connected to healthcare provider systems, with examples including continuous glucose monitors, cardiac monitoring systems, and symptom tracking applications. The monitoring approach has become increasingly sophisticated. We now see environmental sensors that can detect allergens or air quality factors that might affect health. Some medications incorporate sensors to monitor patient adherence to therapy. More advanced systems track multiple health parameters simultaneously, and some even use artificial intelligence to predict potential health issues before they become acute. These connected monitoring ecosystems integrate multiple data sources to create a comprehensive picture of the patient's health status. Care supports, the next category, have, in my opinion, the key role to play in chronic disease management. The effects of care supports are on care processes, not directly on clinical outcomes, otherwise they would be classified as digital therapeutics. They function as patient navigators or health mentors, apps for self-management that support and help patients navigate their care journey and therapy. Perhaps most importantly, they convert what patients must do into how they can do it. They address that critical last-mile problem in healthcare delivery, where clinical recommendations often fail to translate into patient action. Care supports may also be designed specifically to improve drug use and adherence to therapy, helping medications perform better and improve therapy outcomes. In this context, they are sometimes called digital companions to the drugs. However, it's important to understand that it's the drug, not the software, that is ultimately responsible for the clinical benefit. These companions can be developed in conjunction with specific medications and might connect with delivery devices, provide reminders, or help with tracking. Their value proposition is to improve the real-world effectiveness of proven treatments. Digital therapeutics represent the final category we'll discuss today, probably the best known and certainly the most frequently mentioned. The term digital therapeutics was first used in a scientific context in 2015, establishing the conceptual foundation for software that delivers evidence-based therapeutic interventions. What distinguishes digital therapeutics is the direct causal relationship between the software intervention and the clinical outcome. Software itself serves as the primary active ingredient in treatment. These can complement or even replace traditional interventions in some cases. The field of digital therapeutics has seen several key milestones in its development. In 2017, the FDA approved the first digital therapeutic in the United States, Reset for substance use disorder. That same year, the Digital Therapeutics Alliance was founded as an industry organization to advance the field. Between 2017 and 2019, initial regulatory frameworks were developed across multiple regions. From 2018 to 2020, the first wave of clinical trials was published demonstrating the efficacy of these interventions. And from 2019 to the present, we've seen increasing physician awareness and adoption of digital therapeutics. In 2019, the first formal classification framework was published specifically for digital therapeutics. This framework categorized these interventions based on several factors: their treatment modality, whether they are standalone or adjunctive to other treatments, their therapeutic area and indication, their delivery mechanism, and their level of clinical evidence. The purpose of this classification was to establish clear boundaries between digital therapeutics and other digital health categories, providing clarity for all stakeholders. We've also seen significant progress in reimbursement for digital therapeutics. In Germany in 2020, the DIGA fast-track process established a reimbursement pathway for both digital therapeutics and care supports. France has implemented its own reimbursement framework for validated digital therapeutics. The United Kingdom has created an NHS evaluation and adoption program for digital therapies. Additional countries, including Belgium, the Netherlands, Japan, and South Korea, are developing their own pathways. These reimbursement models take diverse approaches, including value-based arrangements and subscription models. Finally, in 2023, we saw two major developments in the standardization of digital therapeutics. First, a refined classification of digital health technologies was published, incorporating lessons learned from early implementation. More significantly, ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, issued Technical Report 11147, providing the formal definition of digital therapeutics. This represents an important international consensus on terminology and standards, creating a common framework for developers, regulators, and payers. It also points toward future harmonization of evaluation methodologies and evidence standards. The ISO definition of digital therapeutics consists of 4 essential components, all of which are necessary to understand what digital therapeutics are, and what they are not. Each component addresses a specific aspect of digital therapeutic functionality, and together they establish clear boundaries between digital therapeutics and other digital health technologies. This framework effectively sets the minimum requirements for any technology to be classified as a digital therapeutic. The first component of the ISO definition establishes that digital therapeutics are health software. Like the other categories we've discussed, they have a fundamentally software-based approach to intervention. They interact with patients through various digital interfaces, which might include mobile applications, web platforms, chatbots, or interactive videos. They can be standalone solutions or integrated with other technologies. From a technical perspective, they must meet rigorous software quality and cybersecurity standards. And their user experience design is critical for ensuring patient engagement and treatment effectiveness. The second component specifies that digital therapeutics are designed to treat specific diseases. They have a clear therapeutic indication. Based on the German experience after 3 years of implementation, the most common indications include mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and insomnia, rehabilitation needs following events like strokes or orthopedic procedures, migraine management, diabetes, vestibular disorders that cause dizziness, and tinnitus. Each digital therapeutic has an explicitly defined intended use and is validated for specific patient populations. The third component, and this is crucial for understanding digital therapeutics, is that they treat diseases by generating and delivering a medical intervention. This is specific to digital therapeutics. They provide a medical intervention based, in most cases, on cognitive behavioral therapy, or in other cases on serious games for rehabilitation, for example. A medical intervention is not simply a list of lifestyle recommendations that patients can choose to follow whenever they want. Rather, it's a sequence of actions that patients must complete in a specific order and within predefined time frames. These structured interventions constitute the active ingredient of the therapeutic. The fourth and most important component of the definition is that the medical intervention must have a positive therapeutic impact on a patient's health, and this impact must be proven through randomized clinical trials published in medical journals, just like drugs. This is a fundamental principle. The effect on clinical outcomes must be demonstrated regardless of the technology supporting the therapy, whether it's chemical, biological, or digital. There are no exceptions for digital interventions. They must meet the same evidence standards as any other medical treatment. This focus on clinical endpoints, rather than surrogate measures, ensures that digital therapeutics deliver meaningful benefits to patients. It's important to understand that while the patient-facing application is the key element of a digital therapeutic, it's not the only component. Digital therapeutics are prescribed by physicians, who have access to a dashboard that allows them to follow the patient's therapy progress. This creates an integrated ecosystem that includes the patient application as the core therapeutic delivery mechanism, the physician interface for monitoring and management, connectivity with healthcare systems, secure data transmission, and supporting clinical workflows. This comprehensive approach ensures that digital therapeutics are properly integrated into the broader healthcare context. With these defining features in mind, let me mention a few examples of digital therapeutics that are currently available or in development. For depression, there's DiPraxis, which delivers evidence-based digital cognitive behavioral therapy. For childhood ADHD, Endeavor, marketed as EndeavorRx, is the first serious game-based digital therapeutic approved by the FDA. For hypertension, Cure app in Japan offers behavioral modification for blood pressure management. For chronic insomnia, Sumrist provides digital CBT interventions. And there are digital therapeutic candidates in clinical development, such as QPress and NYX Digital, addressing additional therapeutic areas. We are seeing a growing pipeline of digital therapeutics targeting a wide range of chronic conditions. It's crucial not to confuse care supports with digital therapeutics. The appearance, what you see as a user, may be identical. Both might present as smartphone applications with similar interfaces and interactions. The difference lies in what's behind them, the evidence base and regulatory classification. Care supports are backed by process improvement evidence, while digital therapeutics require RCT-proven clinical outcomes. Their mechanisms of action also differ fundamentally. Care supports provide indirect benefits by enhancing other interventions, while digital therapeutics have a direct therapeutic effect. These differences have important implications for regulatory pathways and requirements, as well as for prescription and reimbursement models. In conclusion, patient-facing digital health technologies can be powerful enablers of a new model for chronic disease management, one that promotes patient empowerment and active involvement in care. This transformation won't happen overnight, it will take time, and several challenges remain. We need better education and information for healthcare professionals to drive adoption. We need to address issues of patient digital literacy and access. We need continued development of appropriate reimbursement frameworks. And we need to integrate these new technologies with existing care pathways. All of this requires collaboration among multiple stakeholders. But despite these challenges, I firmly believe that the transformation of chronic disease management through digital technologies is both inevitable and necessary. Thank you.